Can you please introduce yourself to my audience and your background and experience as a DevOps engineer?
All right. So my name is Vincent Tete. I'm a DevOps engineer from a software engineering background. So originally, I have passion for system administration, networking, and software engineering, and I never knew there's something that combines all of those things. So while I was on the project, I realized that DevOps is made up of software engineering, system administration, networking, right, and cloud computing. And then that's what led me to become a DevOps. It brought up the passion in me. So basically, that's my background. Yeah.
So for those who don't know DevOps, what really is DevOps engineering?
Yeah. So DevOps is a philosophy or a culture that unifies people, processes, and products, right, to deliver value to end users, right. So if you are looking at maximizing your delivery time, the time for shipping your software, right? So you are looking at delivering softwares on a very scalable infrastructure, right? If you are looking at minimizing downtime, right, and then disaster recovery time, DevOps is what you should look out for, right?
So, okay, so from your intro, you did mention you're a software engineer, started as a software engineer. So how has the journey been as a software engineer, and what made you change from being a software engineer to a DevOps engineer?
Yeah, so being a software engineer, when I started as a front-end engineer, so I do everything so like a jack of all trades. I did JavaScript, a little bit of Java, and Python. Currently, I do mostly Python and Golang as for backend, right? So, I'm a curious type, and I wanted to know what happens after writing codes, right? There's a lot that happens after writing codes. It's not just writing the codes, right? There's a code that works, and then there's a code that is ready for deployment or delivery, right? So the curiosity to know what happens after the software is being developed is what got me into the DevOps cycle, right? So as I mentioned earlier, I never knew there's something like DevOps until we started a DevOps project at Table, right? That's where the whole DevOps thing started. So we started a project where we had to create an infra from scratch for software, like for in-house softwares, and then from the beginning, nobody had any idea about what DevOps is. We don't know what it entails. So we did a lot of research, we did a lot of learning, and then a lot of implementation of some other tools and technologies that we use to implement the DevOps infrastructure. So during that time, that was when I started having the feeling, or I realized that this is something that I love, because I realized it combines all the things I like system administration, cloud computing, and we still write codes. And it's fun, trust me. So that is what spiked the passion in me, and then and that's what led to becoming a DevOps engineer.
So Vincent, what are some of the tools used by a DevOps engineer?
I would say the tools and technologies. There are a lot of tools and technologies out there for doing the same thing, right? Most of them have their pros and cons, right? So you have to now research, read about them, know what they can do, know what they can't do, and then you pick the one that is fit for your use case, right? So before you select any tool or technology, you have to know the use case, the reason why you want to use this particular tool. So once you get a scenario, you understand the requirement and all that, you'll be able to pick a tool that is suitable for that particular project. Yeah. So some of the tools that I've used before. So we have like, they are in categories, right? So for version control, something like GitHub, like a place where you can push your code and then collaborate with other people to work on. You can use GitHub, you can use GitLab, you can use Bitbucket, right? You can use AWS Code Commit, right? And then for CI/CD, you can use Like I've used GitLab Runner, I've used Jenkins, right? I've not. I think I've heard a bit about CI, but I've not really used it before, right? And then AWS Code Pipeline, yeah. And then for code coverage and code like dependency scanning, I use SonarQube and Snake for code coverage and then dependency scanning. And for container security, there are libraries around where there are libraries that you could use to check or scanning your containers, your Docker images or container to make sure that they are not vulnerable. And for deployment, we mostly, from my experience, we use Kubernetes for orchestrating our containers. So Kubernetes helps you orchestrate your containers such that you can easily scale based on the request that comes in, a request that you desire.
That's really excellent. So as a DevOps engineer, what are some of the key responsibilities and tasks you handle on a daily basis?
Yeah. So as a DevOps engineer, you work with software engineers, quality assurance engineers, and management, right? To make sure that you understand the software requirements. So before becoming DevOps, you have to like have knowledge in software engineering, right? So that you understand the requirements, you know what the organization is looking out for. You know the requirements that they've given to the software engineers, and then what is expected of them, right?
Yeah. That's really a great role and a great way of coming up. So what were some of the challenges you faced when coming up as a DevOps engineer? And how did you overcome it?
Yeah. It's all about the tooling. So you have to learn a lot of tools and technologies. Yeah. So from the beginning, I never knew there's something like GitLab or Bitbucket. So I had to do all I knew was GitHub. I had to go and learn not just how to use it, but how to configure it, how to make it scalable. If you have 1,000 users using Bitbucket, how do you scale it?
Okay. Right?
Yeah. How do you back up the codes and all that? You have to learn all those things.
Wow.
Aside that, you have to also do all you have to automate the configuration and then the setup for all these things, right? So for configuration, we use infrastructure as code tools like Terraform and then Ansible, right? So you have to write a script to automate all that. And before you automate something, you have to first of all understand it, like understand how it works, how it's being configured. So the tooling, the learning curve, like you learn a lot. Like you have to learn a lot, research a lot. So if you're the type who don't like learning every day and researching every day, DevOps is not a thing. Yeah.
So is it compulsory for someone to know software engineering before diversing into DevOps, or someone can just go with the role of learning on the DevOps engineering?
So we have different type of software like DevOps engineers. Some come from operations background. So probably they are senior network engineers or senior system administrators, right? Okay. And then others also come from software engineering background, right? So if you come from a software engineering background, you have an upper hand because you know how code is being written, right? Okay. You know how you can work with software engineers to probably fix bugs or implement some of the best practices, right? Because a developer can write a code that works, but it's not efficient. Okay. And that could consume a lot of CPU when deployed. Okay. So if you understand how the code works, you'll be able to tell them that, hey, there's a bug in one of the dependencies, or this algorithm you wrote is consuming, it's taking more time to run. So you have to optimize it so that when deployed, you don't use a lot of resources. Mind you, company think about money, cost. DevOps comes a lot of cost. So if you don't have ways of minimizing cost, and you having the experience to work with software engineers to fix those like bugs in the code before it get deployed, you find yourself wanting. So it's good to have software engineering experience, and then also operations. So I mentioned I have passion for system admin networking by default.
Yeah.
So if you have to become a DevOps, you need those. You have to know software engineering, system administration, networking, and cloud computing, and other things. DevOps a lot, like contains a lot. So to become an engineer, you need experience. A lot of experience, yeah.
And that's a great advice over there. What advice will you give to individuals aspiring to become DevOps engineer or those looking to enhance their DevOps skills?
So if you are coming from a software engineering background, you have to focus more on system design, system architecture, know how systems are being designed and architected. You have to also know, like, understand, like, the software development lifecycle, right? And if you're coming from like the ops background, like a network engineer or some admin, you should learn how to code, right? Learn how to code yourself so that you know how softwares are being developed, not just how they are being deployed. Okay, and then you have to be someone who is willing to learn, or like as a DevOps, learn every day, because every day face different challenges, every day face new situations altogether. So you have the passion to learn, and you should be curious. There are a lot of tools, so if you're not doing anything, just pick one tool and read about it, and you're good to go.
That's really great. That's really insightful too. For people who would like to get in touch with you and to have conversation with you, can you kindly share your social media handles for such people?
Okay, so you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm mostly active on LinkedIn and Twitter. So on LinkedIn is Vincent Tete, and on Twitter is at Vincent Connect. Yeah, at Vincent Connect. Those are the places you can find me.
Thank you very much, Vincent, for coming up Tech Journey. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel.